I have to listen to podcasts and not to another book, then I'll forget everything.
All right, I'm assuming there'll be a little bit of a lag. So hello if you are watching the replay. All right. Okie dokie. I think we're now at the point where just look at the names instead of introducing people.
Probably. I don't know. I feel like I just like don't show up randomly for at least one of these.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Okay. I will leave everyone linked down below anyway. We are talking about One Fell Sweep, which is book 3 in the Innkeeper Chronicles series. So do we want to go around and say, maybe since this is our topic of conversation every day leading up to the live shows, when you read the book, what format you read the book in, and overall feeling of the book, and then we can jump into spoilers. I'm going to go first, Megan.
Sure. I did it through the regular audiobook audio, so the unabridged audiobook version.
When?
Did I?
Now? Oh, literally today. I started it at like 1
I feel like
a.m. or
just to call us out.
Yeah, I started it at like 12 a.m. I got through like 6 chapters. I went to sleep, and then I finished it by like 4 p.m. today. It's good.
But you know what this is? Good job getting it done today.
Thank you. Like I actually got it done. I was like, oh look, I finished it on time. We're fine.
And how did you feel about it?
I like this one way more than number 2. Most definitely. I throughout parts of it, I was like, oh my god. So all good things, except for the ending. The ending, I was like, how dare.
Oh.
I read the ending the first time like 3 or 4 years ago, and there were no more books out. That was just how it ended. And I was like,
That's
what?
worse. That's worse.
So, and I still haven't read the next book, so I am still unsure of what happens.
I can tell you. Because I started the next book.
Don't tell me with your mistakes. I read it last week sometime. Yeah, or before that, whatever. And
I read it sometime.
I loved it. I think it's the best book in the series so far. As much, even though I've given every book 5 stars, because I genuinely just love them. Like, you would have to bother me in some way for it not to be. But I do think it's the best one. And religious trauma, I really enjoyed all the themes in this book. So it's fun.
See that. This is my turn. I listened to the graphic audio today. I finished it at I think 4:30 my time. So just in time. I will only be reading graphic audios moving forward because they're on Hoopla, and I did not buy these on sale, and I'm not paying full price for them. None of their bad regular audios. I just feel like the graphic audio is fine, so like I'll stick with it. First time reading this one. I mean, this is my first time through the series. And I feel like that last like chapter, because the graphic audio is only like 7 chapters. And I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening? I was getting very upset. And then I was like, okay, we're good. We're clear. We're good. But I last night was like, oh, I'll read I'll listen to like one of the first chapter. I'll listen to the first chapter. And I put on book 4. And I was like, what is going on? Why is it not Dima? I was so confused. And then I realized that I put on book 4 because Hoopla returned to book 3. And I didn't realize it. So I'm a genius. It's fine.
You are a genius, and we love you.
I read and listened to the book a couple of times this month, mostly because of things that were going on here. So I actually re-listened to all of the graphic audios back to back in order, which was really a good experience because I made links between some things that were not things that I picked up on the other times that I read it. But it is my favorite one in the series so far. And I also don't think you could have this book without what happened in the second book. So yeah, because I like the second book as well quite a lot, but I don't think you would have had the same payoff in this book if we had.
We wouldn't have.
I did the graphic audio for the second book yesterday, and then I did the normal audio for this one today, because that's kind of how I've been doing it, is I'll listen to the regular one first, and then when I re-listen, I'll listen to the graphic. And I liked it more the second time around, since I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting romance in the second book this time. So it was a lot easier to like, and I knew like, I at least had the expectation, so it didn't anger me as much.
Mm-hmm.
So Cookie is now just still one of my favorites. I love Cookie so much.
Oh yeah, Cookie's awesome.
He's the best.
Alrighty. Should we start talking about the actual book and spoilers? Who wants to go first?
Cookie was in this one.
He was.
And I love him so much. And I love the chef. They're both great. And I legitimately cried at the end of this one, like that little section right before the like epilogues section. I definitely cried, and I was like, I was not expecting tears. How dare you?
I did not cry.
It was during her like stasis period when it was just like everyone was like trying their best to comfort her, and I'm just here like sobbing.
Really nervous. I was like, I don't like this at all. But I was like, it's Ilona Andrews. They're not going to screw me over. It's going to be okay. I was surprised at how much I liked her niece, Helen.
Yeah,
Helen's cute.
She's really cute. It was really well done. I particularly loved her beating the shit out of Arlen.
Yes.
Yes. On command, no less.
On command.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It's the best. I think that Helen really added to the overall story and cast of characters.
Agreed. Although I kept hearing Aunt Dina, and I have an Aunt Dina, so it was just really weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like Aunt Dina, and I'm like, where? And then I ended up texting my cousin because I kept hearing my aunt's name. I was just like, hey, did you know that I look like your mom and it's weird? And that's how that went, because I kept hearing my aunt's name. Then I sent her pictures.
Yeah, I loved she just was a delight. I was surprised. I was like, oh no, I hope I don't hate this, because she's younger than most of the kids I feel like in Ilona Andrews' books.
She's 5.
Because she's 5, and like in Kate Daniels she's like 8 or 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they do a really good job of fitting in like what would kind of make sense for a kid that age, and also this is a paranormal child, so
yeah,
they do a good job.
Like there's a child in the last series we read who was like a toddler for a while.
Yeah, this is true.
Izzy doesn't know that.
No, there's children. You can say
Legacy.
there's children without.
I know, but I said Izzy doesn't know that though. So
well, Hidden Legacy had the little girl
older
too.
Kids.
Yeah, no, Hidden Legacy had Cornelius's daughter.
Yeah, Cornelius's daughter too.
How old is Cornelius's daughter?
But she like wasn't that like she wasn't as on page as Helen. So
yeah,
it started as 4. She was a 4-year-old, and then it went through like the 3 whatever transition years. So she ended up being about 8 in the second arc.
Yeah. Also very different personalities and
oh yeah. I do like that all of the kids actually have personalities versus when some people write kids and it's just like, here is a child.
Acting like a child, but not quite like a child. Yeah, I hate that. That's why I was like, I love this. This is fun. This feels right.
I feel like I've had good luck with books with kid representation this year for whatever reason. I think it's getting slightly better. But like my favorite scene with Helen was when Arlen was cleaning his armor and she's just sitting at the table.
She was like, that was sweet.
And that idea of kids just like really
just like being around,
needing to be around the familiar, and the fact that she's been through so much, and it was just one little thing that was familiar in a very strange place for her because she'd never been to Earth before.
Right.
See, my favorite with her was the breakfast bacon scene. That was cute. Where she was just like, rah, 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 and he's just like, oh, I'm so afraid. And then she chucked her mug, and when they all turned, she grabbed the plate of bacon and freaking bolted. I was like, nice.
Yeah. Her tiny fangs and growls and hisses and stuff were really cute.
Yeah. They were adorable. It was so funny.
And then when when the cop just like was staring at her because she hissed and ran away, she's like, she's pretending she's a cat. This is a normal developmental thing.
This is totally a usual child and not half vampire.
It is a completely normal thing. My nephew went through a phase where he wouldn't leave the house without like a superhero costume on. Like it is actually just a thing that kids do.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was very believable that a human child would would hiss
Yeah,
at you.
it was
just
just funny
because.
the way Maud said it. She was like, "This is a completely normal thing. Don't judge my child."
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And this.
Oh
Naming it.
yeah, the cat. That's the Ripper of Souls because they didn't have children's books. I love that.
Alazar. It's so cute.
It was so good.
I
Oh,
loved it.
Yeah. I also liked having Maud back in the book because I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed her character.
Like, I
really
liked her.
liked Maud. I'm
I was-
really excited for the next book
Yeah.
because of her.
When she was first introduced, I was like, "Oh, is she gonna be annoying?" And then I was like, "Oh, she's not annoying. I like her a lot."
Yeah.
Okay.
The
They have a
best
really
sibling
good
dynamic.
relationship,
Yeah.
especially for siblings who, for all intents and purposes, haven't talked in a few years. It was
Yeah.
still there.
I don't feel
I-
like it's by choice that they don't get to talk though either, which is
Right.
nice. Like it's
Right.
just circumstances more than anything. And they just were so funny. Like when they are watching Sean like in the room and she goes over the speaker
Yeah.
and Maud is just like making like inappropriate jokes the entire time.
Mhm.
And she's just like, I'm gonna kill you.
There was
Yeah.
some great like sibling moments where it's just like, yeah, no, that's completely a sibling thing where they're like, "You remind me of Mom. Shut up. Okay, Mom."
Right. Yeah.
That's just perfection.
Mhm.
And they do that so well. All the different familial relationships.
Mhm.
It's always believable that these people love each other, like each other, and have that history.
Yeah.
And I like that they played with the fact that it didn't have to be age order per maturity level either, because
Mhm.
I think Maud is.
Yeah. It was very personality based. Like
Yeah.
they even said like growing up, Maud was always the one that was like, "Give me weapons, like let's train,
Yeah.
let's do this." So the jock type one, I guess.
I also liked her beating Arlen up.
I loved that.
That was so
I loved
fun.
Arlen who was just like floored by the fact that like a woman wasn't like a wilting flower or whatever. Like he was like, "What? She can't defend herself. Like, what is happening with this?" And
But also
Dina's just like, "Bro, you know me." He's like,
Yeah.
"I thought you were an exception."
But also just like, yeah, she beats him, and he's just like, she is amazing.
I love her so
Yeah.
much. And he's like kneeling at her feet. She's like, "Please don't do that."
Yeah.
I love her. She's good.
I'm so excited for the next book. I love those two.
Yeah, I liked the bar scene at the very beginning where you meet them, where Dina goes to get Helen, and Helen's like, "Aunt Dina," and she's like, "How did you remember me?" I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." I mean, she didn't remember you. She was taught you, but still, that's really sweet.
That was cute.
I can't wait to read their book either. We just finished everything I've read before, so I'm very excited.
The next book is their book, right? Number 4.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. It
I do
opens
kind of
with
have
Maud,
lower
and that's why I was
expectations.
so confused because it opens with Maud, and I was like, "How did we get here?"
Well, it's
Frickin'
good
George,
that you
man.
probably did read that one. Otherwise, you would have never known you were in the wrong book. You would have
Yeah.
just been like, "All right, I'm picking up what you're putting down."
It would have been great
This is the
if I
next
would have. Like,
adventure.
well, I looked down and I looked at the cover and I said, "That's book 4. That's not book 3."
No.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
This
I,
was also hilarious.
Also, I could not with George meddling again.
I like George.
I do like George.
George is
All he
just
has to do.
exhausting, I think, for me.
I don't
like,
care. I
ah.
don't care. I love him.
But
Yeah, I like that he's meddling, and I like that Dina's now picking up that he's
Mhm.
where
I do
he's
like that
influence.
he sees her as a friend, I guess. And how she was it in this one or was it in the last one where her Grace was like, "You let him off too easy," and she's like, "Oh well, I blacklisted him
That was the
from
last
every
one.
other inn, so he has to be here."
Yeah. That was
And
the
so I get
last
to
one.
charge him triple the price because no other inn will have him. I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
he's
she
gonna
also knows
manipulate the
that it's
universe.
him though, because he wants her to know that's
Yeah.
him. I think
He's
if
not
he
he's not
didn't,
hiding it anymore.
she wouldn't. They wouldn't have seen a blonde man. They would have seen someone completely different, you know?
And that little bird kid with the motorcycle is also cute. Wing or
Yes.
something. He's cute.
Yes, we.
He's a menace.
Yeah, I'm
He's
saying he's a
he's-
cute or a menace. Like I feel like he's more of a menace.
¿Por qué no los dos? You can be both.
he's a chaotic whirlwind of a character who
Yeah.
just
Yes.
wants to be a hero.
He just wanted the poinsettias. They were pretty.
I know that was the best.
But also,
I was
they
just
did-
like, that's why we're getting chased.
well, I feel like they did that really cleverly because it gave a reason for us to interact with the other innkeepers and his son, who we hadn't interacted with,
I
and
love
it
Tony.
not be obvious that we were being set up for more. You know,
That's true.
Yeah.
I did like Tony. With the
He was
put upon
funny.
size of an adult child who knew a lecture was coming. I
Yes.
was like, I feel that.
Yep.
I loved the just like, yeah, we're gonna stay for dinner. We
Yeah.
are. I think that was funny to me. And Dad was
Yeah.
like, we are? And he's like, yeah,
It's like, yeah.
absolutely.
I love
Tony
that
just wants
Tony
food.
he just wanted food the whole time.
Mhm.
and also
Even
that
after
was part of his reason to come back the next time. Was
Yeah.
oh yes, I'm definitely coming and eating for months if I have to.
Did you say Christmas feast? Thank you.
Mhm.
And I did like that it sort of gave the reveal more on the Adhal as well. And
Mhm. Yeah.
they'd been mentioned, but we didn't really know how. And also, I think that idea that the I forget what they call the big ruling group. Is it council?
The assembly.
The
The
assembly.
assembly. Like they weren't just ignoring the situation, even though Dina didn't necessarily know that they knew.
I do
And
like how each entity, being, species, whatever they're, I guess, called, has their own name for group. Like we had the Hope Crushing Horde, we had the Inacrity or whatever for the
Inocracy.
vampires, the Inocracy. We have the Assembly.
Yeah.
Like they all have different group names.
And they're
Why
different enough
would
that I can remember most of them.
That's impressive because I cannot. But
I can't necessarily remember them off the top of my head, but I feel like it's pretty easy looking at them on page to know which one you're talking about, and that's not always true of made up names.
Yeah.
Speaking of other side characters, Sean's parents.
Oh, that was
Love
great.
them.
The introduction of Sean's parents was like a great scene too. He's just like,
Mhm.
can you not embarrass me in front of my girl?
Mhm.
And then they're like,
they're like,
how dare wait, girl?
Yeah, that was good.
wait, maybe we will be nice and not embarrass you for a minute.
But also, you can understand they basically changed everything about their life to keep him from doing what they had been created to do for all intents and
Mhm.
purposes. And the very person who led them into it dangled,
Yeah.
the bait in front of their son that they had purposely avoided all contact with.
Oh man. Speaking of that, when Arlen found out
Oh
what
yeah.
Sean used to be, and he just snapped, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Maud had him in hand, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did.
I did like that Sean was right though, and she's like, oh, he doesn't know, and Sean's like, nope, and we're not gonna tell him because then he's going to try to attack me because he has pride and honor. And then sure enough, that's what he did.
And I kind of like that the main reason that Arland reacted that way was because he knew that Sean didn't even attempt to kill him.
Right.
And it was that.
He knows that he spared his life on purpose and he can't handle that.
And Sean just took that beating, man.
And I also agree with this.
But also, then Sean pointed out that he had pulled, like Arland had pulled his punches because his ribs weren't broken. And Dina was just like, it looked pretty aggressive to me.
Yeah. But I like in a lot of ways it just shows how even though they won't admit to being friends, they kind of are.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure they are.
They're 100% like, we're not friends, but we're kind of friends. But we're never going to admit openly that we're friends.
We're not going to admit that we like each other.
Yeah, and even just Ireland, whenever they needed to go and collect one of the beings, just like, oh, actually no, even before that, when they had to go and stop Wing, was like, well, I'm a guest and I need some exercise. This sounds like a great opportunity to go and get some exercise.
I do like that he was like, I want to woo Maud, so he's just like, all right, I think I need a nice little R&R. I'm just so stressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was hilarious.
No, I did like Officer Moraes.
Yeah.
He was much more fun in this book somehow for some reason.
It's like he found out the truth and then he was like, I don't need to be suspicious anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's all he needed. He just needed to like assure
Yeah.
himself that she wasn't like a terrorist or robber or something.
And he's also had time to sort of even just start processing the fact that there's something not quite right going on because his car is still hasn't needed to be refilled. So he knows that there's something, and then it's confirmed, and then he gets the truth, and then he processes it. And he's also
I love that too.
Is the time that it took for him to be suspicious of Dina in the first place till now, and in all that time, it'd be obvious that she wasn't, causing harm in the neighborhood and wasn't causing harm to him, and could have caused harm to him and didn't, and things like that. Like all of that, I think, lays the foundation for him then to get on board when it was time.
And I just loved him learning the rules so that he could spout them.
I do love that citing the treaty agreement to the other beings. He went full cop. He just was like, yes, I am still the cop and I will be the cop. And it's like, okay. Yeah. And then also, the baton thing, that was great.
Yeah.
Like, Sean, why did you give that to him?
Also, I know, like, I felt frustration for him because it's like, but there's nothing you can do, and you're not being the bad guy. You're just trying to protect people, really. And just that frustration. So it's really nice for him to be able to know everything and just like be a part of the team, however loosely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even even participating in at the end while Dina was, stuck inside her body.
Yeah.
Being part of one of the groups. Just made me happy because they all came together as a big group. Yeah, you found that.
It's the best payoff.
It is.
It is so good.
It's really fun.
And I think
reminded me. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it feels like this book is kind of it's like the end of the first arc of the story. Like still plenty of places to go and still set up for other things, but like it's a comfortable arc where you see everyone sort of come together.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the cop thing reminded me of when Wing came down and they were like, we have to distract to get him the attention away, and the next door neighbor was like, you were jogging. Have fun jogging, you two. That just made me laugh.
Especially since he was like smirking the whole time, and she was like, that's all you could come up with? And he was like, he was gonna believe this regardless of what story we told him. Like,
and then Walmart, y'all are expecting? Yes, we are. And then he just kept shooting the fart gun at her when she was like lecturing him. I love that so much.
Also, for that, the Muckrats demanding her left shoe in train.
That was so funny.
Like, they wouldn't budge.
I love that she went for her right shoe because she didn't know, because she doesn't know their language, and they just start freaking out. And it's like, no, not the right. We don't want the right. The left shoe.
And she's just like, yeah, whatever. This is how it was going to be something weird. Just take
the only choice.
Cookie bartered to the point where they gave her money to get her shoe. I was like, that's great. I love that. Cookie's like, I have to redeem myself for the shoe fiasco. So he kept bartering for the sandals. I was like, that's hilarious.
It was.
Yeah. And now Dina will know not to take Cookie shoe shopping with her next time.
Cookie's the best.
Never take Cookie shopping with you if you don't want to have to barter.
I love Cookie, and I picture him as a tiny fox child, which just makes it better. He's just so adorable.
Yeah.
I also like the very creepy Adhal gone bad.
Oh, what is it? The corruption or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And I like the Ian's like, no, not bringing it in here. Not unless you do this and this and this and this. Yes.
And then like when they extract the sample, it has like a resin plug ready.
Yeah. And it just keeps like pouring it in, even though it's like sufficiently, it's like, nope, we're just going to keep going as much as we can. I mean, it was right. It still broke out. So
well,
also, it was right to do that.
with that one, it was so creepy from the get-go. Then we find out that it's her brother's best friend, and actually they have a relationship there. And then on top of that, when Dina is in stasis and the inn is like screaming that the corruption's getting out and no one can hear it, and you're just like, this is
Yes.
so
Oh my god. And then it just goes towards Tony. Oh.
Like that whole sequence when she was trapped in her body was, I thought it was really well done, because it felt claustrophobic.
Mhm.
To read it and to listen to it, it felt claustrophobic.
And also at the beginning, she didn't even want to reach for the light for all intents and purposes.
No.
Like, she didn't care that they were on the other side of the darkness from her.
No.
And then, gradually over time.
And that's when
More
my
and
crying
more.
was occurring. Yes. These tears.
Listen,
leaking
I was
from my
crying as soon
eyeballs.
as the baby Ann died. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I was really sad about the baby end too. I was like, why is this making me so sad?
well, obviously it also played with themes of bombers and hostages and even religious brainwashing, where it's because your leader told you to do this. And the religious themes I thought were really well done, particularly because you have these unpleasant aliens that are completely innocent and don't cause anybody any trouble, and yet are being hunted to the brink of extinction. And you find out it's all because they were their god, and the leaders wanted to hold on to their power, and also the fact not just their power but also their money, because their entire economy was based on it. And you can so easily believe that that's exactly why you would exterminate an entire group of beings.
I mean, I feel like we've kind of seen that happen.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It was
in the trailers. But yeah, I was gonna say, I agree. Also, the graphic audio when she was in that stasis was really cool. How they muffled everything.
Yeah.
So it was kind of neat, to have that effect happening. Because at first I was like, "What is going on?" And I was like, "Oh my god, no! They're muffling it because she's here, but she's not here."
Yeah.
I guess I'll find out in 3 weeks when I listen to the graphic audio.
I don't know. I might re-listen to the whole trilogy before I start the fourth book.
Yeah.
I'm debating it.
It was.
Oh yeah, World Killer Flower was scary.
Oh yeah. I also just like that Caldania happened to have an antidote just on hand.
I mean, she made a point. She was like, "Why would you have a poison if you don't have the antidote ready?"
Yeah.
Well, and also the vampires weren't naturally toxic to it. They created it, and then they also vaccinated their whole family and their descendants. And for the descendants, it's not, as strong, so it's not a sure bet, but it's still better than literally any other option.
Because they said she said that they were diluting it because they were running out of the vaccine so they were basically just hoping.
It was also said that it would be less in their descendants because Arlen wasn't of the generation that created it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
is how I understood it.
I had a thought and I lost it. Oh no.
I do agree. They've mixed in good, this is paranormal, but it also did have horror elements
and sci-fi.
They mix a lot, sci-fi. They mix a lot of themes of different genres into this series, which is interesting.
Yes,
as long as there's kissing, I'm fine. There was kissing,
and there was a really good kiss at the beginning. Obviously, we got more, and we got a steamy scene. But the kiss at the beginning, I was like, yes, this is what you kids have been waiting for.
I was just like, yes, kisses.
Yeah, that's great.
And I liked how they really developed their relationship and but also had to understand both Sean's instincts, but also Dina's in relation to the inn, and that neither of them have really understood each other up to this point. And even if, I think all the discussions around, all the conversations around Dina not really trusting Sean, but it being more the fact that she has her priorities and the priorities rely on her being able to keep her guests safe. Not that she doesn't trust Sean, but that she's got she's trying to manage all of that at the same time. I like that they had to sort of figure that out.
And Sean's going to be an innkeeper, but he refuses to wear the robes.
Of course.
Of course he refuses to wear the robe. Oh yeah, that was my thought. What was his name? He with the really long name, the Draziri.
Yeah.
I know he just kept I can't hope. I mean, maybe we find out in the most recent book, because clearly he's able to source them somewhere that even innkeepers struggle to find in seeds.
So we actually don't have the last book in graphic audio, it looks like, yet.
No, not yet.
So that's
It just
sad.
came out in
I just saw
December.
this.
Yeah, I was like,
I know.
the people who do
but-
graphic audio have been pulling a lot of, I think that they up
They
their
do a
game,
lot.
basically.
Yeah. Kate Daniels is coming to graphic audio, though, in April.
Yep.
I did not realize. So that's
No.
exciting. I was trying to see if there was a
First two-
release date for the new one. So I was like, I need to go look this up before I forget.
The first two Night Huntress novels are in graphic audio right now. The
Mhm.
second one had just came out last or this month.
Mm.
So they're just pulling, I guess, popular paranormals.
Yeah.
Classics. Classics of the paranormal time.
Well,
I mean, is Janine Frost really a classic?
That Cat and Bones is a classic paranormal of that time. Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess,
don't-
yeah.
Good spot.
I mean,
Good
they're-
one.
The second book from Bones's perspective is coming out in April.
But yeah, I would consider those of the mid 2000 paranormals. I think that one's a classic for sure.
That one has a soft spot for me because that was my first full paranormal series that I read.
Mhm.
I also get the feeling they're pulling books that people read over and over as well.
Don't disagree. Makes sense.
Which is why they're pulling so many Ilona Andrews books.
Mm-hmm.
Because anyone who's read those books will read them multiple times. Generally
Yeah.
speaking.
And a lot of the other non-romance genre books I've seen picked up are books that I hear about people rereading, fantasy wise and stuff. So
But yeah, your point, Heather, about
They do need to do Nalini scene graphics. I agree.
oh yeah, that would be good.
that would be good.
Yeah,
I
I
would
like
just
that
listen to
conversation.
Heart of Obsidian on repeat though.
I think it's always hard when you are having a fight with someone and the people that are closest to you are like, you're actually not right here.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I think we're going to that was an Easter egg. That was a little thing that was hinted at about where he's getting his supplies and who's feeding him information and all of that. I think we're going to see it in the future books.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not in the novella,
Mm-hmm.
so it's got to be book 5.
They're so good though at multiple books later being like, you thought we dropped this and we did it.
I think that's why their books are great rereads because you catch the things that you didn't realize
Yeah.
maybe a couple books back.
Yes, for anyone else who missed it like me, George is in the first book. And I totally missed it every time I've read it, except
In the
for
marketplace.
in the
Right.
marketplace.
I don't know if I would have noticed it even on a reread yet.
Same.
mean, I
I think it would have taken me a
remembered-
couple.
Yeah, well, I
I
only picked it up.
remembered
read the most
noticing it, but not connecting it to,
Mhm.
okay, that was George. I never got that far.
No, I didn't
I
either.
didn't-
I was like, oh, that's weird that we're pointing this out. And then I was like, man, whatever.
I didn't process until the second time reading it that he was only a year old at arbitration.
Yeah.
I didn't it didn't process in my head that it said 1 year later. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's literally only been an arbitrator for a year.
Well, Ilona Andrews didn't give us any time indicator of when he became an arbitrator. They just gave us the story of him being invited
Right.
to the
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think I missed that the first time as well. I heard it, but I didn't process it.
Okay. I have something that I want to talk about. I have notes this time. If you can't tell by me constantly looking over to the side and then coming up
Well,
with
then you
random
have
things.
a little
You're fine. I
scan for
listened to
them
this
too.
in my 3-day migraine haze. We're good.
Right. Okay, so
I'm
you
here.
guys know you are, and we're happy to have you. You know how I read the scene, like this short on their website that is Dina's parents meeting? So
Mhm.
then in this book, it talks about how Dina's father saved the innkeeper and her children, and then it specifically says that he was trapped in the inn, in a
Yeah.
dormant inn. So I was like, wait, so this is a dormant inn. So one, was that her parents' inn that they then, brought to life when she moved in because she was buying the house that he was trapped in, right? And then
Yeah.
also, like, was it dormant the entire time? The inn. We know he was trapped in the inn. We know he was trapped for centuries, basically, right? But I want to know how long the inn was dormant because we know that, well, I know because I read it. The realtor has showed the house multiple times, and she's not the first realtor to show it. He's scared off all the other realtors, and she just will not quit. Like, she is going to sell this house no matter what he literally throws at her, right? So my question is, because a dormant inn, goes into stasis, it can only survive so long, yada, yada, yada. My question is, was it dormant from the time that he saved the innkeeper, or did he save the innkeeper? They continued with the inn, but weren't able to like get him out of what he was stuck in, or if it was recently dormant, like a year or two, and that's when the realtors were. So I want my questions answered, hopefully, in the future.
You
But
also
I was struck by that.
you also reminded me when I because I literally re-listened to the second one before this one, is that they called her dad a con man. Like before he became an innkeeper, he was like a known con man. And that's why he was so good with guests, because he was really good at reading people and had like all of this knowledge on how to make other beings like happy or trust him or whatever. And then he passed it on to Dina, which is why Dina knows like mangoes for the chef and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to know where her father originally came from, because he would have had to have been a con man before he got trapped in the inn.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a guest of the inn. He helped save the innkeeper's family, but got trapped in the inn for however long, because we don't have that time period until he's free from it.
No, we do
he might
know
have
that
been
he was trapped for centuries. It says that in the first book.
I mean, I think he might have gotten trapped because it said the innkeeper died. Like it said he saved them. He was able to save the kids, but eventually the innkeeper died of their injuries. So I think the inn went dormant because the innkeeper died.
And
yeah, probably.
And it must have been Dina's dad that sustained the inn even while it was dormant.
Yeah,
because
that's true too.
Guest, even if he was trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they just didn't have another innkeeper to replace the previous one.
Yeah. It'll be interesting when they explain all of it, because they will.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to end this series without telling us what happened to the parents. So
I want to. Do we know if the book that just came out in December is the end, or do we not know? None of us have read it, so I'm assuming we don't know.
I want to say that I saw maybe Mara at Books Like Whoa. I want to say I heard someone say that the ending of that book indicates that we're getting more books.
Okay.
I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure I heard someone say that.
Okay. I'm not.
They don't have a timeline on any of their books. So
Francesca says there
I
will
will
be
have a
more.
meltdown. So we're not going to talk about the lack of a timeline for any of our books currently, because it makes me very upset. It's fine. I'm happy for them, but it makes me very upset. So we're not going to talk about it.
Well,
yeah.
All I can say is Sweep of the Heart has a very high Goodreads rating.
Well, you have to read 3 books to get to it, and then I do think it's the best book in the series. So if you read the first 2, you probably are like, this is better.
No, book 5.
Book
Oh,
five.
never
Yeah,
mind.
One Fell Sweep is the
Listen,
one that we just read.
Listen, I have called every book in this series clean sweep in
I know,
my
same.
Why did I
stories,
pick up
in my
book 4?
wrap ups every
Clean Sweep
time.
1, Clean Sweep 2.
Again,
My-
I'm just gonna
my-
stand
my-
by. I picked up book 4 for a reason because
My-
all
my
these tiny
problem-
little
I
things.
don't know what they're called.
My problem is book 4 is called Sweep of the Blade and book 5 is called Sweep of the Heart. And that's
Yeah.
too close for me.
I
See,
can't
I
do
can
that.
remember the Blade
Sweep,
one.
like those, at least I can
because-
wrap my head around them. But when you start with
you have to associate Maud with the sword, and when you do that, then you can know which one is her book. But that's it.
I know that because I've read that book, but I just noticed I hadn't connected it until I looked at the books on my bookshelf because I pulled off Sweep of the Blade today.
Yeah.
That
Wait, so we only have 2 more months of this?
Mhm.
3. There's a novella in between.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say, are we doing the novella as its own episode?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's worth doing it because that's a return to Dana and also I think book 5 is quite.
I'm not alone, and my Ilona Andrews names are all the same. Everyone, every time. There is no hope.
Magic bites, magic binds, magic triumphs, magic.
Exactly. I can't keep Kate Daniels straight any of them.
I don't know anything. Okay.
What else was on the
One,
list?
the banter in this was impeccable. Not only
was so
between Sean and Dina, but also Arlen and Maud, and
Mhm.
also everyone else. Like, just
Yes.
top notch.
I was giggling a lot listening to this.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot
Yeah.
more than I expected.
Yeah, a lot of funny dialogue.
I think
Fart gun just cracked
They
me up.
taste like chicken. That scene where she like goes running into the kitchen freaking out because she thinks he's cooking an
He is
alien
so
or whatever.
And it's a
offended.
duck.
And he's like, it's a duck. I would never hear.
It's
And I
The
like
one
the
time I
Oh.
didn't follow my code.
It's
Someone
all
was
color and
poisoned.
fire for all of
Mhm.
Hidden Legacy,
Yeah.
but
except for the first one, Burn for Me. But after that, it's like white flames, sapphire flames, emerald blaze, ruby flames. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also liked in the scene with oh my god, why am I forgetting names today? This is what happens. Anyway, with the chef.
Is it
Just-
Oro or something?
Yeah, Oro. Thank you. She's just standing there going, "Oh, I brought this on myself, and now
Yep.
I just have to sit here and take it."
Yeah.
I have made the dramatic one angry, and now I must sit through this
Right.
monologue.
Yeah.
Great.
But also, Oro making her mango ice cream because
Mm.
mango.
I like I said, just tears. So many tears.
It's just like little things like that they write in it where they've set it up to where you know how much that tiny little thing means to the character,
Yeah.
and it just gets you.
But I also like their point when he's talking to Caldenia and they're like, well, humans are the only beings in the universe that don't eat other sentient beings. But yes, it's a hang up, so fine, we won't cook it for you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That was hilarious.
I was like,
I
I
would
like that this was
love
a
that.
Christmas book
Or
too.
Officer Marias.
And Sean caught on and he was just like, she'll shoot her eye out.
So good.
Yeah. Mango ice cream and donuts is what I wanted while reading this book.
I did love the donut thing. That was great. He's like, is this poisoned? It's like, no, it's going to be the best donut you've ever eaten.
I also thought it was very interesting that at the end we found out that the corruption was hunting the Adhel, or however you say it,
Mhm.
and that they know it's hunting them and that they
Mhm.
need help. I thought that
Yeah.
was quite interesting also.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
I
That was
love
rough.
the Haru. And also Helen giving him the Christmas ornament.
Yes. oh,
And the like tears with the room, and how Innkeepers just gave them like the best that they thought, what like the common practice was just a black room, with like no
Indigo.
windows and stuff, and she gave them like this gorgeous sunset sky and water, and
I love that she
Right.
wrote it to Mr. Rodriguez as well.
And also how the hero kept being like, I know I make you uncomfortable. You don't have to go out of your way to be around me. And just kind of Dina being like, it would be unforgivable for me not to. Like, this is what you
Yeah,
should
also-
expect from people.
Also, it's not you, and everyone will get over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you cannot control most of the things that people have issues with.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And I
everyone
like-
will just like, get over it.
And there
I
are
like-
some things that are instinctive, right? Like a really bad smell or whatever. That doesn't mean you have to be awful to that person ever.
Yeah.
It never means that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It the minute they entered the inn, I was just like, is this, because it reminded me of Spirited Away, if y'all have seen it, where the stink spirit comes in and it ends up that it's actually like this grand, it's a grand river spirit, basically. It was just a polluted river spirit.
Okay.
So once they were able to like clean the polluted river spirit, it ended up being this grand spirit that they thought was just like a waste, basically. They're like, we have to be polite to him because he's a guest, but we don't want him here. And then it ended up he was actually like this big deity style thing. And I was like, yep, this is a
Classic
great
fairy tale.
parallel.
Yeah.
You were mean
And
to
it was
the ugly person, and secretly they were incredibly powerful. Classic.
It's the old lady at the castle cursing the
But yeah.
prince.
Yep.
Not just that, but just, beautiful and technologically advanced and powerful, but basically brought down because other people
Because
perceived you in a particular way and
Right.
drove you home, so you couldn't actually they couldn't even be in their natural form anywhere.
and
that they-
because of hate that was based in nothing.
Yeah.
It was based in something that was completely untrue, and I don't know. It was pretty heavy-handed, but also I was like, yeah.
But sometimes
See what you're
you
doing
need
there.
to be handled, and if you can pull it off in a really
Right.
good way, like it's
Mhm.
Right.
like the impact of that.
Absolutely. Also, they had such pretty names.
They
You
did.
know, it was like Sunset and Moonrise, and also one, he was willing to just die right away so that they didn't have to try and protect him. And also how they gave everything that they had, all of their riches, all of their knowledge, all of their things to find this new home, but they also got enough for a question for Dina,
And they had
I'm
the
pretty
thing
sure they
answer
talked
her
about
first.
somewhere. What?
They had the creature answer Dina's first. Like they were like, what would you
Right.
like? And they're like, no. Like she needs to go first.
Right. Like they were obviously like a wonderful species
Yeah.
that had ethics and morals and all of the things.
I did think that Sebastian North was the cat, and that is why he can't get that collar off. I genuinely think
Yeah.
that, yes.
Is it the cat?
At which point that last scene would be real awkward.
Or is it Sebastian North's pet? Or is it,
Maybe.
I mean, obviously it's connected in some way.
The cat's connected somehow.
But yeah, I think everyone's first thought is it the cat? Is it like, are
Like
you
once
in
you
there?
take the like collar
We'll
off,
see.
like the
Well, see
cat
if they
turns
can't
back to
get the collar off, is it that Sebastian North is somehow trapped as the cat?
I don't know. I feel like if it
Is
was
it in the
that
novella? Do we find
simple-
out more?
I don't think so.
I feel
don't
like if
remember
it is that simple, then the explanation for it won't be that simple because their stuff really isn't usually that obvious, Like
That's the hard
never.
part.
Yes,
Mhm.
don't say
What?
Francesca.
What is he?
I said that's the hard part. I feel like the obvious explanation is never it with Ilona Andrews.
No.
Right.
To some
I never
extent.
know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Fifth book.
Fifth book. We'll learn in 3 months, guys.
You might.
Heather's like, I'm reading all of them tomorrow.
I am very good at wanting to read something, and then as soon as we get off, immediately forgetting that the thing existed until I'm reminded
you
that
are.
we have a live show that week.
I
I will remind you for book 5 well ahead of time since it's a 16-hour audio.
Is it really?
No, that's book 6.
Yeah, please remind me.
It's
ahead
book
of time.
5. It's
Book
not
5.
the novella. It's the other one.
Yeah, the final.
I think it depends.
Well,
on
not final. The current book, the latest
Right.
release, regular audio is 16 hours. Yeah. I will be starting it days ahead.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Same.
And I will be yelling at Megan to do the same.
Yeah. Remind me.
Because otherwise we both will go, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm not sleeping tonight. Let's just try to 2.0 this audio.
I should be able to 3 times speed it since it's not a graphic. So that'll help.
Yeah,
But,
the graphics I have to slow down like a lot. Like I think 1.25 is my graphic speed.
I'm at 2.5-ish on graphics, give or take. I start at like 2 and then I inch it up as I listen.
I'm at like 1.25 for graphic, and then I'm at like 2 for everything else. And then if I need to speed through it, it'll be 2.5.
No, all my audios
I
are
listen to the
3s.
graphics at 2. And that's comfortable.
I listen to it like a podcast, and I only speed up my podcast 25%.
I've been on like 3 times for audio for a long time now, and some apps give me 3.5, and it's just dangerous.
Oh yeah, normal audiobooks are 3 or 3.5.
Okay, Spouse makes fun of me because he says that my audiobooks sound like gibberish. And I only listen at like 1.5 or 2 depending on the book, and he's just like,
oh, he would be like, how are you listening to this then if he heard how fast I'm listening to most of it?
I told him that his books just sounds like the narrator's drunk because he listens at 1.0 speed.
Oh god, yeah, no.
And I was like, every time I walk by, I just hear it talking like this.
Yeah, once I figured out speeding up audiobooks, it really helped with my ADHD and audiobook listening. I was like, oh, this is so much better.
Others like can't relate. I read books with my eyeballs.
But I hate it all the ways. I hate it on one. I hate it sped up. I hate it.
I hate it here and there. I hate it everywhere. I do not like them.
I do not like sped up.
It
will annoy me so quickly, but listening to someone just read it also annoys me so quickly. So here we are.
I'm going to have to give feedback on something. So it's part of my job. I have to do CPR retraining every year, and the theory component we have to do online, and they have videos that you watch and whatnot. And because I can't speed up the videos, I actually can't follow at regular speed because it's too slow, because I'm not interacting with the presenter. I'm physically in a space.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, it actually stops me from being able to take in the information, and I have to spend more time doing it because I just lose. I'm not even intentionally trying to lose the train of thought, but it's just, yeah, I'm used to everything set up.
I have gotten 2 certifications from Coursera, which is like what Google uses for their analytics coursework stuff, and I'm so happy that they have the stuff sped up. Because I'm like, oh, good, I can go like up to 2, and I just 1.5 everything because
it helps.
If not, I'm just like, I get bored, and then my brain goes like off and away.
Yep. It's wonderful technology.
Love technology. All right. Anything else from the book since we have successfully derailed ourselves? Oh, hang on. One of my favorite quotes from the very start of the book is, "My sister was stuck in 18th century vampire Australia."
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. That made me laugh when I heard it.
Yeah, it was funny.
So true.
Also, I cannot wait to find out. I hope we find out in the next book. Steph, tell me if we do. I can't wait to find out why they exiled Helen, because they said they never exiled vampire children because they're so rare and precious.
Well, they said that they never liked Maud. Like, that's what Maud had said, is that they had never accepted her.
Yeah,
so I think they probably did.
But also, she begged them to keep just Helen, not her. And even like Arlen was like, that's very unusual.
I
That-
genuinely think it's because that they didn't like Maud, that
Mhm.
they didn't care about Maud's kid. Like
I
she wasn't like a
disagree.
full vampire.
Yeah,
I
I can't.
disagree.
I genuinely can't remember. It might be.
Steph, you're
I know-
literally the only one of us that knows. It's
I know, but
supposed to be.
I haven't read it for years, and I think what I remember about it is we learn a lot more about sort of the vampire politics because Maud's going there as a guest who's turned down a proposal from Ireland, which puts her in a really awkward position in terms of the political and the power dynamics there. And so she's still she's well and truly sort of an outcast. And throughout, what I remember is it was all about building allies, and having to work at and really that inner workings of theocracy and in particular Ireland's house. And I remember loving it and going, yeah, this is like those people with power. And I don't know, for some reason, I vaguely remember some kind of party and just the politics of it, which I love that stuff.
You reminded me. You reminded me of. I loved when Arlen's uncle went into the inn.
Yeah.
And was just like, I don't understand his fascination with humans. Like they don't know anything about vampire politics. And then Maud just comes in, politics the crap out of him, and he just leaves feeling really good about the whole
Well, then he's asking Dina what's your lineage like?
Yeah.
I love how Arlen is with Helen.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I get all of that, but it said that Maud begged them to not exile her child. So obviously it wasn't just that Maud didn't trust them to keep her. She wanted them to keep her because she kind of thought that they were probably going to their death. She didn't think,
her mother-in-law was terrible.
In a couple years, I'm going to make it back to Earth to my sister's inn and she's going to be completely safe. That's not what Maud was thinking at the time. So it's not that she didn't trust them as much as she doesn't, because she begged them to keep her. So why didn't they keep her? Obviously, I assume we hate her former mother-in-law, but
without being able to remember the details, my gut instinct would be it's probably something that her husband. It could be partly because of Maud, but also because of what her husband did.
Mm-hmm. That's my best guess. Would be something he did,
and she's just collateral because she's human, and it's something. It would probably be something around honor, to be honest, because that's the only thing that really gets a really deep-seated reaction from them. But I don't know.
I think the thing that
I would think them being half wouldn't matter. I feel in this situation
it doesn't matter.
What's bothering me about it is that both Maud and Arlen act like they're not sure why they would have made that decision. They don't have the answer. And if it was something as simple as, honor or half human, they would know that that's what it was because they live in that society. But they seem to think that it was very odd and they didn't know why.
Yeah, I think it probably has more to do with that, with her ex-husband's house and something that's going on with them. And maybe we do come back to that in this book. I genuinely can't remember. I sort of remember the big things.
Well, I remember nothing from any of these books except meeting characters, basically. So
I remember there's a kid.
Whoever remembers, write it down.
Yes.
Well, and also, hello, puppers.
Yay.
When it did talk about how, I think it was Dina's thoughts maybe about Maud, talking about how if you put her in a ballroom full of political people, she would be able to maneuver it no problem. She is a genius at it. And I do love that kind of intrigue and matching wits and all of that. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because once they get to House Crowd, they're not they have the protection of Ireland, but they're not safe yet because they still don't actually have a tie to the family. And even when they do, no one's 100% safe with the vampires because they're them.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited because I remember I loved this book, like really, really loved it, and I was surprised because it wasn't all of the characters that I'd loved. It was just a handful of them.
Cool, because I heard some criticisms about it, so I'm going in with like lowered expectations, but maybe not.
I just love all three of them, and I mean we've met a handful of the other characters so far. But
yeah,
I'm excited
for vampire politics.
I'm excited to know more about that side of this world.
Yeah. Part of me wonders if some of maybe the criticisms of the book came because it's not a direct continuation of the story that we're used to in that, like it's a sidestep.
Well, I've avoided spoilers, but the criticisms I think had to do with the plot and like the steamy scenes and the way the relationship plays out or something like that. I don't really know. I'll find out after I read the book and before the next live show. But so basically I was just going to go in with lower expectations, so it's not a disappointing read. You know, I want to be pleasantly surprised, not, oh, this didn't live up to my hype.
Look, even Ilona Andrews' most disappointing book is not a bad book. So
yeah, that's the best part about their writing.
Yeah.
Ilona Andrews is great.
It's going to be a good read no matter what.
Yep.
All right.
Hello.
Exactly. This. Anything. All right. Final thoughts?
I'm excited for the next book.
I'm excited for the next one.
We actually do have a date for the live show for the next one.
We do, guys.
We're being organised this month. So the next live show will be Friday the 28th. Northern Hemisphere time.
I was like, hold on. Yeah. So Eastern, our normal time. 8 Eastern.
Or if you're like me, it'll be a Saturday. I can't tell you the Australian time because I think we change, we start daylight savings. So that will change it for me again.
Friday
Best of luck with that. Daylight savings is rough, man.
Well, we've changed once for you guys, and then we'll change again. So I think it pulls it back to 10 a.m. for me.
Okay, and is it at 11 right now?
It's 11 now, and it was 12. So
this is so confusing.
Hang on, I can check.
Time is weird. I don't like this.
Sprang forward an hour.
Yeah.
You went forward, but we go back, so we end up 2 hours with 2 hours difference.
Weird.
It's their fault.
Oh, that's true. It's still weird. Time is weird. We don't need daylight savings, guys. We are no longer
we need to
farmers.
just abolish.
Yeah, it'll be 10 a.m. Australian Eastern. All right. Yay! Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fun.
That book. It was really fun.
It's a great book.
It is a
Yes.
great book. All right. I think we are all very tired.
Listen, I'm on. It's passing, but we're on day 3. It's been a party.
I understand. I was on.
Izzy needs to go lie down. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Yes.
And we will see you next month.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.